think timing, and I had been to Harrison twice before, and I loved it, and the idea tweaked probably about 7 years ago. I wondered if I could actually live in a small town. I didn't know about the residency then, and I saw it a few years after that, and I sent it out to a few people that I thought might be interested. I wasn't at the time because I had this big studio, and it just so happened that I was in between studios, and I just thought this is perfect, and it's a full year, and I love the area. I'd been back in January and then applied in April, I guess it was. So, yes, I have done one residency before, okay. And that was in New York in the summer. And it was outside of Woodstock, New York, art colony, actually a heritage site that was built in 1902. And there were 30 buildings. They had studios and a theatre and a barn, and there was 15 of us that spent a month in that particular place. It was great. My plans for the year: do as much work as possible. I mean, it's a continuum of my lifestyle before. I was full-time before. So basically just getting a routine of studio practice. First couple months I've actually been settling in. I've been able to do a lot of half-done things, a lot of things that I was working on for the past few years that I didn't finish. So I've done a lot of kind of settling in and just sussing out the space, and my work has gone through a bit of a change. When I was in New York in the summer, I decided to add some man-made elements to all the natural aspects of the work. So it's taken actually a couple months to just assess how I want to move forward. So the rest of the year, and in particular December and January, where I have that chunk of time to work solidly, will be just continuing that. So drawing and painting and taking lots of photographs and documenting. Kind of working towards the show in June, but also I've got catalogs that I'm sending out and proposals that I'm putting together for public gallery exhibitions. The environment is influencing my work just for the pure beauty of it, and my work is already has been for 20 years on natural elements. So just being so close and surrounded by nature has just, I think it's just heightened my appreciation and my admiration. And it's also a little tricky because I want to add the man-made elements to the work, and right now I feel like I'm kind of away from that now. I'm away from the city, I'm away from my usual urban surroundings, so it's a little tricky because all I want to do is look at trees and water and reflections and mountains and whatever, but it's definitely heightened that, and it's also I've taken thousands of photographs already, so that's a big influence, I think, on how the actual painting and drawing will maybe change, maybe a little more realism, a little more recognizable aspects. Other than doing art, I've been pretty much walking every day. In September, when I first got here, I was walking and swimming every day, taking tons of photographs, like I said, thousands of photographs, and reading lots, doing a little bit of painting of the walls and the space itself, and sorting through my books and doing some sewing, actually. Lots of sewing. And what else? Yeah, just admiring. Mostly, I'd say what's different is getting out every single day on a routine of taking at least half-hour walk, sometimes 4 hours, and just walking and not having a set time because I don't have to be back at any time, so just walking out and taking photographs. Painting and drawing, mostly, and that has almost moved entirely from painting into drawing. I think while I'm here I'll be doing mostly drawing with elements of painting. I use graphite and graphite paint and a mixture of paints. So I most of the time was using acrylic. I moved into raw pigment recently and then into watercolor. So I've been doing quite big watercolors, and I will continue to do that. So by big, I mean 4 feet by 5 feet by 6 feet, and then filling that space with some drawing aspects. But while I'm here, I'll also be working on a sculpture from something that I started 3 years ago, which was a recycling project. For 1 year, I saved everything that couldn't be recycled, everything that would have gone into landfill, and I'm hoping to make either 1 or 2 sculptures while I'm here. That'll include cement and rebar and resin. So that's mostly what I do as far as artistic stuff. Well, I was born. I went to a music school, so that was, I think, the first seed. I went to a full-time music school, so we had music every single day. We played in an orchestra and sang, and part of that school was putting on theatre productions, so I got quite interested in the back end of the theatre, so backstage, prop design and set design, and that's where I thought I was going, and started taking art in high school and kind of got captivated with the non-design aspect, but still had intended to go to theatre. And I did my first year of foundation at an art school in Ontario, and just kind of fell in love with, I think, more of that insular process as opposed to having to work with other people to do design work or to do theatre, having to move around from theatre to theatre, working with scripts and working with directors. This was just totally self-based and reliant on your own thought process and being able to have your own voice. And I was interested in writing at the time, and music always, so it seemed like something that was a nice blend of that. So I did my 4 years of art education and just have been doing art since. Well, I can speak for myself. My concern with the environment comes from my interest in nature, and it's always influenced me from when I was in art school, and I think because I went to art school in Ireland, I was surrounded by it. But as far as other artists, I think that there's just a natural ability to see the world and a need to see the world around them in order to observe, in order to create authentically for themselves. So they ask questions and they demand answers in order to kind of speak their beliefs to the world. And the environment is a pretty big one right now, especially. So